A big shakeup is happening at Voice of America. We also call it VOA and other US funded news agencies. US President Donald Trump's administration has started mass layoffs, signaling major changes in the way the US government funds media. This has put many journalists, specifically those working on contract, out of jobs, and some may even lose their US visas as a result. First, let's talk about Voice of America. VOA was created during World War II to provide news to people in countries where media freedom is restricted. It broadcasts in 49 languages and reaches millions of people worldwide. Its mission has always been to counter government-controlled news in places like China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. But now, it's facing major budget cuts and job losses. On Sunday, the Trump administration laid off many VOA employees, mainly those working as contractors. These contract workers received an email saying that their job would end by March 31st. The email also told them to stop working immediately and that they could no longer enter VOA offices and access work system. Many of these contract workers are foreigners, meaning that their visa to stay in the US are tied to their jobs. Losing their jobs would mean that they have to leave the country immediately. While full-time VOA staff still have their jobs, they are now on administrative leave and told not to work. This means that VOA is running with fewer journalists and some of its broadcasts have stopped altogether. Some language services have even switched to playing music instead of airing news. The question is it Trump's larger plan? Well, Trump signed an executive order on Friday cutting funding for VOA and its parent organization, the US Agency for Global Media. In 2023, this agency had 3,384 employees and requested a $950 million budget. With these cuts, several other US-funded international news agencies are also in big trouble. First, Radio Free Europe, also we call it Radio Library, focuses on news in former Soviet countries. Secondly, Radio Free Asia covers China, North Korea, and other restricted Asian nations. Thirdly, Radio Farda, a Persian language service that Iran's government blocks. Fourth, Al Hura, an Arabic language news channel launched after the Iraq War. You know what? These cuts come as China and Russia invest heavily in state media, trying to control the narrative in global news. China, for example, offers free content to developing countries, increasing its influence. Trump has always had a rocky relationship with the media. Everybody knows about it. He has often criticized journalists and called news outlets biased. The White House issued a statement saying that American taxpayers should not be funding radical propaganda. VOA, however, has traditionally been known for unbiased news, aiming to counter propaganda from communist and authoritarian regimes. Trump's government, with advice from billionaire Elon Musk, is cutting down government spending to make room for tax cuts. He has already cut most foreign aids and is planning to shrink the education system as well. Now, with these new budget cuts, it's unclear what the future of VOA and similar US-funded news agencies will be. In the meantime, China and Russia continues expanding their influence through state-controlled media, making it easier for them to spread their views online. Many journalists and press freedom advocates worry that shutting down VOA's international coverage will leave a big gap in independent global news, making it harder for counter misinformation and propaganda. As the world's media landscape changes every single day, the big question remains: will the US continue to fund independent journalism for countries that they need it the most?